This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 in the morning. Today's analysis covers a remote operation denial of service vulnerability in the Siemens SICAM A8000 series and the use of stealth signals to bypass the ongoing communications blackout in Iran. We examine the native deployment of Google Gemma 4 for offline inference on iPhone and a new cryptographic framework for post-quantum Ethereum that eliminates performance penalties. This report also looks at a Memristor chip from the University of Southern California capable of withstanding the surface temperatures of Venus and new research into sequential unlearning for large language models. Finally, we analyze the impact of AI-driven heart risk screening and the recent electoral shifts in Hungary. Security researchers at CyberDanube have identified a critical vulnerability in the Siemens SICAM A8000 series of industrial controllers. Specifically, the flaw affects the CP8050, CP8031, and CP8010 models. This is a remote operation denial of service vulnerability. An attacker can exploit this flaw to disrupt the remote management functions of the device, effectively locking out operators from critical infrastructure controls. The research indicates that the vulnerability exists in all firmware versions up to 25.30. Siemens has released a fix in version 26.10. This is a high-priority update for operators in the energy and water sectors, as the SICAM series is frequently used for telecontrol and grid automation. The technical failure occurs during the processing of specific remote operation packets, which causes the communication interface to hang or restart. According to a report by IEE Spectrum, specialized stealth signals are now being used to bypass the near-total communications blackout in Iran. The blackout, which began in early January 2026, represents the first time the government has successfully throttled landlines, mobile calls, and the internal state-run intranet simultaneously. The bypass technology utilizes low probability of intercept signals that hide within existing noise floors or mimic legitimate, non-data transmissions. This development is critical for the 90 million people currently living under an unprecedented information lockdown. While the Iranian government has aggressively blocked traditional VPNs, these stealth signals operate at a physical layer that is significantly harder to detect and filter using standard deep packet inspection tools. In a significant advancement for edge computing, Google Gemma 4 is now running natively on the iPhone. This enables full offline artificial intelligence inference without requiring a connection to external servers. The deployment utilizes the Apple Neural Engine to handle the computational load of the 4 billion parameter model. This shift toward native, local execution addresses long-standing concerns regarding data privacy and latency in mobile applications. By keeping the inference process on the device, user data never leaves the local environment. This is an update to the ongoing competition between Google and Apple to integrate frontier-tier models directly into mobile operating systems, moving away from cloud-dependent architectures. Researchers at Ethereum Research have proposed a new architecture for a post-quantum version of the blockchain that functions without digital signatures. Traditionally, moving to post-quantum cryptography involves a heavy performance penalty due to larger signature sizes and more complex verification. The new framework reaches over 570 transactions per second on a commodity device, such as a MacBook Pro M3. By eliminating the need for signatures in specific state transitions, the system removes the performance bottleneck entirely. This is the first recorded instance of a post-quantum blockchain reaching such high throughput on consumer-grade hardware. It suggests that Ethereum could transition to a quantum-resistant state without sacrificing the speed or efficiency of the current network. This is a signal from the future. Researchers at the University of Southern California have developed a Memristor chip that can operate at 700 degrees Celsius. For context, 700 degrees was the limit of the testing equipment, not the device itself. The chip showed no signs of failure at that temperature. This is an under-the-radar development because it solves the primary hardware hurdle for exploring Venus. Standard silicon chips fail almost instantly in the 460-degree heat of the Venusian surface. The memristor is a nanoscale component that combines memory and logic. By functioning at extreme temperatures, it provides a blueprint for autonomous landers that can survive for months, rather than hours, on the hellish surface of Venus. Under the radar, researchers have introduced a sequential unlearning framework to operationalize the right to be forgotten in large language models. As regulatory frameworks like the GDPR become stricter, companies must have a technical method to remove specific personal data from a trained model without retraining the entire system from scratch. The framework uses a lightweight, sequential approach to edit the model's weights, effectively erasing the memory of confidential or sensitive information. This is particularly relevant for models deployed in politically sensitive or highly regulated environments. It represents a move toward more modular and privacy-aligned artificial intelligence, where data can be retracted as easily as it was ingested. Community chatter is focused on a high volume of new strikes by the ransomware group, known as Coinbase Cartel. The group has published proof of breaches against several major entities, including Lacoste, Cognizant, and the University of Manchester. In security circles, an active exploitation campaign is targeting the Shodoc document management platform. Attackers are using a critical remote code execution flaw to deploy web shells and gain full control over unpatched servers. Users are urged to update to version 2.8.7 immediately. The WordPress community is reacting to a supply chain attack that hit over 20,000 sites. A dormant backdoor was discovered in a popular plugin. It had remained inactive for 8 months before being triggered via a recent update. Finally, Sweden reports that pro-Russian hackers attempted to breach a thermal power plant. While the attack was reportedly thwarted, it highlights the continued targeting of European energy infrastructure. In the hardware market, keep an eye on the AW272060M from Alienware. It is a 240 Hz OLED monitor priced at $350, a significant drop in the entry-level price for high-end display technology. This concludes the synthetic signal report for Wednesday,